Bam, 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 bam. Hun, hun, hun. Bam. Bam, bam,
Gancho.
bam, bam. Hun, hun, hun. Bam. Bam, hun, hun, hun. Digo. Hun, hun, hun. Eso. Hun, hun, hun. Hun, hun, hun. Eso. Hun, hun, hun. Eso.
Canelo Alvarez got a fight coming up this upcoming May against William Scull. William Scull is the super middleweight IBF world champion, and he'll be getting the first crack at Canelo Alvarez. It's your boy, Mr. 926, a.k.a. Bushido the Dragon, a.k.a. the Black Mage, a.k.a. I could just do this all day. The two-time demonetized champion of the world.
I need y'all to get the likes up, man.
Check it out, man. Canelo Alvarez got a series of fights coming up. Of course, the fight that we all anticipating is that bout with Terence Crawford. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Canelo Alvarez going up against the Cuban boxer William Scull. William Scull was supposed to fight Canelo Alvarez at some point, but Canelo Alvarez opted to not fight him. And, you know, he got stripped of his IBF title. William Scull fought for the vacant IBF title, won that particular bout, and now he finds himself in the Canelo Alvarez sweepstakes. But the official card has been announced earlier today, and, of course, it's headlined by Canelo Alvarez himself and William Scull. Then the co-main event is Jaime Munguia versus Bruno Saracchi, a rematch. Bruno Saracchi upset Jaime Munguia, knocked him out brutally. Jaime Munguia got to right that wrong, right? He got to go up in there with this guy again and hope the same thing don't happen again. Then, of course, we got Martin Bakole versus F.A. Ajagba. Another great fight, good matchup on paper. Bakole, as we all know, came in very short notice against the great Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker got him up out of there in 2 rounds, stopped him. Surprising to many, despite that fight being short notice, despite Bakole not getting a chance to prepare, a lot of people still was kind of on the fence on how that fight was going to play out. Joseph Parker, once again, got the W. But Bakole finds himself in a great situation because he was promised some fights, 3 fights this year, one of them being F.A. Ajagba. Should be a great fight. Can't call it. We go talk about it. Badou Jack returns. We haven't seen Badou in quite a while. Badou Jack returns, and he's going to be going up against Ryan Rizzoki. Not familiar with him. I expect Badou Jack to do what he's been doing throughout his career. Marco Verde, I'm not sure who he is, versus Michael Palina. Not sure who either one of those dudes are. And then, of course, the first fight, I believe, on the main card will be Brian Leon and Aaron Guerrero. Never, ever, ever in my life seen any of these guys, except for Bakole, Badou, F.A., Bruno, Jaime, and, of course, the main card. These other dudes, never seen them before in my boxing life. Never. But we go find out. But Canelo Alvarez, man. William Scull appears to be much, much bigger than Canelo Alvarez. And if you ask me, right, if everything was all equal, everything was fair, William Scull should go out there and get the W against Canelo Alvarez, right? Of course, most people are going to say, well, he don't stand a chance. He can't beat Canelo. Canelo's Canelo. Canelo's been doing what Canelo's been doing. But if you look at William Scull, dude got a lot of speed, a lot of good skills. He don't have the best KO ratio, right? So he's not necessarily a big power puncher, but we've seen crazier things happen in boxing. A 5 KO guy stopped a tough guy like Jaime Munguia and Bruno Saracchi. So we've seen crazy things happen in boxing. But William Scull gets first crack at Canelo, and he appears to be 2 times the size of Canelo Alvarez. I don't know, y'all. Right? I don't know. Watching William Scull fight, by all rights, he should be a guy that's a terrible stylistic matchup for Canelo Alvarez. Should be an absolute nightmare for a guy like Canelo Alvarez. He's bigger. He's got faster hand speed. He comes from the Cuban background, so we know the Cubans know what they're doing in there. And by all rights, he should be a tough fight for Canelo. And I believe he's a southpaw as well. So this could be a precursor to help him get prepared for a guy like Terence Crawford. Even though Terence Crawford is the smaller guy naturally than a William Scull, still, Terence Crawford is highly regarded as one of the best fighters of this generation in boxing. And he has all the skills and everything needed, in my opinion, to beat a guy like Canelo. But Canelo has to face this guy first. And this guy could pose some problems for Canelo Alvarez. We're going to see. Canelo Alvarez, at this point of his career, one would imagine he's not necessarily getting better at an alarming rate like he was several years ago. One may imagine that he's kind of falling down the hill. But Canelo still should have something left in the tank. Should still be good enough to beat a very vastly unknown guy like William Scull. Now, William Scull, depending on how he comes into the fight, if he takes this thing serious, we could be very surprised on what we're witnessing this upcoming May. I'm not saying he's going out there and beat Canelo Alvarez, but stylistically, he should pose some problems. If he comes to win and comes to fight and implement a great game plan, he should give Canelo Alvarez all he can handle and more. Not to mention he has the size advantage over Canelo Alvarez. But Terence Bud Crawford posted himself recently, right? Showing him his size that he's gaining, right? Of course, people expect Bud Crawford to put on some size to deal with what Canelo Alvarez is bringing. They say Canelo's built like a linebacker, even though Terence Crawford, in certain aspects, may be the longer guy, taller guy, etc. However, Canelo is the heavier guy naturally. So Crawford's definitely going to have to put on some kind of weight going to this fight like many of us expect. Should be a great fight. Canelo Alvarez himself hasn't talked about Terence Bud Crawford ever since this fight with Scull got announced. Maybe he needs to really, really buckle down and focus on William Scull. In the past, Canelo Alvarez tended to stay away from these type of guys, but Canelo Alvarez has turned over a new leaf, and now he's going to be facing a guy like William Scull. A lot of people not giving him credit for this matchup. I think I would like to give him credit because typically Canelo don't like to fight these type of guys, but now he's fighting these type of guys. And then he's going to follow through with a fight with Terence Bud Crawford. So it should be a great year of boxing once things get back going again. Canelo Alvarez got to bring it all in these next couple of fights, man. I think William Scull's going to surprise a lot of people. And, of course, Terence Bud Crawford, who you guys know I already got winning a fight. Crazy, right? It just sounds crazy. But I got Bud Crawford beating Canelo Alvarez. Why? Because he's Terence Bud Crawford, and I expect him to come more prepared than he ever was in any fight that we've seen. Not to mention Crawford has arguably one of the highest IQs in the sport of boxing today. So it should be a great fight once that happens. But Canelo Alvarez is preparing for a series of fights. And first up, we have William Scull. Tell me what you guys think. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.